Alright, here's my latest acquisition. An Akai MPC3000, and I've wanted one of these for a long time. 25 years, 20 years, but I just kept putting it off, or different things came up, and I finally pulled the trigger and got one. I'm not going to do a side-by-side for sound. This video is really about having a closer look at the 3000 and comparing it to the size of the 2000. So this one, I'm pretty sure, there we go, that's a replacement screen. I don't think that's the original. You can help me out with that one. Don't have a lot of experience with these. Look at the difference in brightness to the 2000 XL new screens. So this one's pretty beat up. It's got some dings. I got a buddy, Irvin, who seems to just have a way with these machines and can really make things like this fit a lot nicer. So hopefully this weekend he's going to have a quick look at it for me and a once over. He's the kind of guy to pull it all apart and clean it and then give it back, because he loves MPCs, especially the 60 and the 3000. And he's just a nice guy. And I think he just enjoys working on them. So that'll be cool if he does that. Otherwise, it's still pretty clean. I gave it a nice rub down on the outside today. So let's just push this away for a sec. This has Velexi 3.5. Let me turn it back on. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Just turn this off and turn it back on. Yeah, Velexi. So you see the SMPTE sync on there? I think that's causing a buzzing noise in the headphone volume. I'm going to try disconnecting it because I don't care about SMPTE anyway, and we'll see if that helps. So yeah, back to my talking about the condition of this one, the build quality, everything like that. First off, this is tight, but that's probably just because it needs some fader lube. It seems to work fine, but it's a little tight. Pads are the same as the XL. The buttons are bigger and more robust, even just that kind of button compared to these buttons. They're just larger. They're just bigger. Here you can see this one compared to this. It's just larger. And I've noticed that they're all larger like that. Like even the transport controls here. I haven't had much time with it, maybe 45 minutes. And I gotta tell you, I love the workflow. It totally makes sense to me. I've already edited using the number system. It's not challenging for me. I can go by ear. I've been doing it for a long time. That's not a problem. You can see some scratches on the unit itself. You can see, you know, that wheel's probably 35 years old, just like the rest of the machine, or 30 or whatever it is. And, you know, overall it's in decent condition, this one, so I'm pretty happy. Hoping it's a keeper. I flip a lot of gear, so I don't want to flip this. If someone tells me the right price, so I might not have an option. I just might have to do it. You can see there are some scratches here and there. The bezel on the front here is pretty nice. It's got a rubberized grippy feeling compared to this part. I like it. I think it's pretty neat compared to this bezel here, which is at least rounded. I mean, I don't lay my hands on there a lot anyway, so I don't think it's a huge deal. Let me just get a shot of both. The 3000 is just huge. It's that much deeper, a little bit wider. The layout of the buttons are super cool. You don't have to do any shift in any other button. Does get pretty warm, I noticed. Yeah, that's pretty dark. Look at that screen. I'm going to be all over the map here with this video. I don't have an agenda in mind other than to look at it compared to the XL and just be with it. A lot of the videos that I looked at when I wanted to buy a 3000 recently, a lot of the videos do sound comparisons, which I like that. I want that. Not enough of them just spent time talking about it and touching it and describing what it's like. So this may be a video that only I will appreciate, but maybe there's one other person like me who is looking for this. So I oftentimes like to create the content that I would like to have but can't find. So let's take another look here at the drive. So you can't see that there we go. Floppy drive. I assume it works. I don't even have a disc for it laying around. I'm probably going to swap it out with a CF. If not a USB floppy emulator at least. I want to bring this up to easy file management. I don't want to deal with floppies, and I don't actually care for zip disks. They're a lot better than floppies, don't get me wrong, but I just don't want to deal with zip disks. They're not my thing. So I'm going to turn this off now so I can hold it. Look at this. Ah, sweet. What a unit. It's pretty heavy. I mean, the XL's pretty heavy too. I don't find it that much heavier than the XL. Maybe a bit heavier, but just the size of it, just the scale, even the height. Let's do a side by side here on the height. So you can see it's quite a bit taller. They look nice side by side. So let's go take a look all the way around and the bottom, because again, this is what I wanted when I was looking to buy one of these. I don't have a tripod. I'm sorry for the crappy camera work. Let me just set it down for a sec so I can pick it up and we can take a closer look at the entire unit. Okay. There we go. Yeah, this thing's heavy. I love how solid it is. So it's got a metal case, metal chassis on the bottom here. And this part's metal too. Otherwise, it wouldn't have survived the dings that it's received along the top, which I'm sure is the most prone to being dented. A few scuffs, got a bit of a bend there, a divot here. I don't know if they're supposed to be like this because it almost looks like that on the other side. Let me take a look. It looks pretty similar. I don't know what that's supposed to look like. Honestly, I'm not sure. There's more of the ventilation for the heat. You could definitely feel the heat coming off it before. There's the sink, SMPTE sink. And I'm thinking I'm going to try disconnecting that to get rid of the buzz that's coming from my headphones. So all the way across we have the IEC input, which is the power cord. The power switch, which feels nice and substantial when turning it on and off. Not a big deal, I know that kind of stuff, but it's all those little details that add up and make it just nice and beefy and a good unit overall that I've heard people like how sturdy it is. This is where the VGA card would go, the VGA adapter, doesn't matter to me. Foot switch, I don't use those, I don't know who does. I'd like to learn more about that maybe. Maybe I'm missing out on something special. MIDI. 2 in, 4 out. Very nice, and a lot of people enjoy that. A la Ian Pooley enjoying that too, right? Got a hole here. I'm not sure if there's supposed to be screws in there. Probably is. Record in. Some gain settings. I had it on mid when I recorded today. It sounded decent. Left, right in. Left, right out of the stereo. Look at that, made in Japan, not China. I like that. The phones, again with the crackling, I gotta figure that out. I heard it's quite common for it to be a SMPTE, so I'll try that. And individual mix outputs. I just love something with a lot of ins and outs. And this one does not disappoint. Look at that back panel. Just so beefy and monstrous. Let's have a look at the bottom here. Stand it up on the bezel. 5 feet. There's one in the middle. 5 foots. I think this panel is where you access the drive. Yeah, that looks like it. Lots of screws. Nice and sturdy. Let's take a look at the side here. So you see how it has the black or the charcoal gray chassis on the bottom, sorry. I've seen some that look like they have the beige or the gray, light gray. And I'm wondering what the difference is, why it's like that. So let's look at this on the back a little more from this angle. This is where you push it up. It'd be nice if it went a few more clicks, but good enough. Look at little fit and finish here. Oh no, that's good. That's fine. Just looks like it's not screwed in all the way or something. It doesn't look right. I bet Irvin will find that and do something about that. He's that guy. Just loves it. You can see it's kind of dinged up here a little bit. So yeah, it's already 11 minutes of me nerding out with this and just being with it. Let's do a back-to-back comparison with the XL. Just turn it off and unplug it. There we go. Okay. Back to back. Still many outputs and inputs. Only 2 out MIDI out, so that's you know, it's a little less. So it's laid out a little differently, but it still has pretty much the same functionality. This has digital in only, whereas the XL has digital in out. I haven't used those in 20 years. I used to use one. Used them on I had a 2000 Classic. And yeah, no need for it. I don't really have a need for it. I will be definitely doing more videos about the 3000, just jamming on it and sharing that. And also, I'll be doing some comparisons, some A/B testing, just to give you an idea of what I think of the differences between the two sonically. What I heard today from sampling was only in headphones, but that filter sounded really nice on this, and the sample itself sounded really nice. So, but again, it's very preliminary. I don't have enough experience with it yet to know just how much more I like it or not. I haven't even hooked it up to the mixer yet, which is there to give it a once over on, or just to hear it on a system, just to hear it loud. And again, like I said, once I do that, I'll be able to A/B it and give you my results. Other people have done it already, so it's kind of a silly thing to do, but for those interested in it, I don't think you can see enough of videos like this. I don't think you could watch enough of them, especially if you're about to drop a significant amount of money on one of these older units. You're going to want to, do some research, get to know what it's really like as much as you can. Ricky Tynes does a good job. Who else have I been seeing with 3000s? There's a couple Ian Pooley videos that are very nice. Who else? There's a few others, and I apologize for not remembering their names right now. Yeah, but just fun to be with, just fun to look at for me. It's an absolute piece of history. Just a little aside, little interesting tidbit. I went to Chicago in '97, I think it was, with friends. We were looking for the Chicago house experience. We were big on Dance Mania records, big on Paul Johnson and Trax records. I mean, all of it. Just Armando, the whole Chicago experience we were looking for. The clubs, the parties, we just couldn't find very good ones for whatever reason. But we did end up hanging out with some young women from the south side of Chicago. They were partying and just hanging out, having a good time in the hotel. We went, and they were nice enough to let us hang out with them. And they were listening to DJ Dion mixtape. And that was such a shock for us because we loved Dion and funk and everybody, and just to hear some nice Chicago booty house from someone who actually lives there and get to experience that culture, it was really cool. The other amazing thing that happened on that trip, we went to Tim Biscuit's record store. I can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry, Tim. You were such a nice guy too. And I was looking for a little bit of recreational substance. Not the hard stuff, just the kind of stuff you could smoke, you know. And so I asked him, and he said, yeah, just wait here for a few minutes. Keep shopping. My buddy's going to show up soon. Who shows up? DJ Sneak. 1997, green hair, hanging out in Chicago. Sneak had green hair, not me. And when he got there, Tim's like, hey, this is my buddy, and he probably can hook you up. And I'm like, that's DJ Sneak. He said, yep. So we went to the back room, hung out for a bit. Sneak hooked me up, and it was just the coolest thing. So Sneak, when he didn't go on and on about his hair and how he just got it done, but he was pretty happy about it. Like, it was worth talking about to him. It became a big part of our 15-minute conversation. But just a really gracious dude, very nice, just same as Tim. And I talked to Tim some more, and there was me and 3 other guys that I went to Chicago with to hang out and have that experience. And so Tim's like, hey, why don't you just come back to my house and hang out? We'll put on a movie, and you can do some of that recreational substance you just got, and just hang out. Be cool with us. And I was like, sure, why not? This is Tim's house, owns a record shop. I honestly hadn't heard of Tim before that, except for being on a few records. I knew that he had done some records. So we go back to Tim's house, and guess who he lived with? Mark Farina and Derek Carter. And I thought about this story because right now Derek Carter's selling a lot of his gear, and he has about 3 or 4 of these 3000s for sale. Anyway, we're sitting in there, and Mark was, I think, out of country or something. But Carter shows up, Derek Carter, and just like a regular down-to-earth dude, just starts talking with us, having a drink. They put on Sling Blade, which was the most curious movie for that environment and that situation, and it was absolutely perfect. So we got blazed, watched Sling Blade, hung out with Derek and Tim, and talked like normal human beings without us being fanboys. And Derek almost burned his house down making a TV dinner or something like that in a toaster oven. So, yeah, I wasn't expecting to talk about this story in this video, but here we are. That was part of my experience. And, yeah, that just kind of touches on my love for Akai MPCs and Chicago house music and how I got into this in the first place. So the other Akai MPC3000 experience I have is one time in sleepy little town of Cambridge, Ontario, which is close to Toronto. There was a party being put on by someone I knew, and they hired Paul Johnson to come and play. So we were supposed to go pick Paul up and take him to the venue or whatever it was, and so I call him to say, hey, we're gonna come grab you now and blah blah blah. And I just got talking, having a quick conversation with Paul, and got talking about music production. This is probably 1998 or something like that. And I said, what do you need to make house music? Because I didn't really know at that time. I had an MPC3000 Classic at the time, but I didn't have really any synthesizers or anything like that. And Paul said, all you need is an MPC3000 and a good synth. And that story always stuck with me. He was a super cool guy too. And yeah, some real classic music has been made on this, hip-hop, house, and otherwise. So I'm pretty excited to dig into this. I see I've just hit the 20-minute mark, which is way too long for an MPC3000 video with 0 MPC3000 sounds coming from it. Let's do a final scan of this. I just can't get enough of this thing. I might end up sleeping beside it in the bed tonight, but I don't think so because my wife won't be going for that. Look at this thing. It's beautiful. Roger Lynn, you nailed it. Okay, thanks for watching. Thank you for nerding out with me. Thanks for spending some time with me, spending some time with some Akai's. And I'll see you on the next one.